subscribe, and turn your notification bell on when you see this video. Okay, child. So today I wanted to give a reading for just my air signs. So my Libras, my Geminis, and my Aquarius. So if you have Libra, if you have any of these signs in your natal chart, this may resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate, just let it go and maybe send it to someone who might relate to it. Okay, so first two cards that I pulled is the Death card and the Magician. And then the Two of Cups. So I feel like I'm only going to do 3 pulls. And I feel like right now, speaking for my air signs, is especially if you are not easily adaptable, it's easy for you to kind of ignore when moments and situations and connections or relationships have kind of been stagnant or at a point where it's time to kind of let go, or maybe you need to pour more into your cup so you can just be in alignment with the energies of just the universe. And I feel like the Death card, people fear it so much, but it's just very showing of how you grow. Like, and I'm getting the idea of like a phoenix that was dead, and then out of nowhere it miraculously springs back up just full of flame and intention. So I feel like the universe is asking you to allow the things that need to die, or the thought processes, or the habits, or the friends, or the connections. Just let it die and surrender. And once you let those connections, and you do the cord cutting, maybe do a cord cutting ritual, and allow the new come in. Because if we're in spring, it's like the seeds that we planted in the winter are now taking bloom. And if you're smart, or if you're just on top of it, you will be planting seeds during this time, and you'll be reaping your harvest for now from the trees you have planted in the prior. And some of us, I think some air signs, we are just now realizing that, and we are just now, some of you guys are just now planting the seeds and just figuring out, after doing lots of shadow work and just going through shit, what they want to do, what's their purpose, what's their legacy, what's going to be here when you're no longer here. Are you in alignment with your purpose? These are all questions I feel like Spirit is asking, especially the air signs, as we step into the age of Aquarius, because now our power, with power comes responsibility, and we all have a choice. And so I feel like if you are not on your shit, basically like staying up on your mental, spiritual, and emotional hygiene, and you are now already more susceptible to energies, you have certain gifts, it just makes it a little harder. And this is especially coming from an air sign myself. Grounding is going to be what's going to be the main thing that keeps us in alignment and keeps us in our dreams with alignment with each other. Because a lot of times we don't realize, a lot of times we don't realize that, and it goes back to one of my prior readings, is that faith. Like, faith is all encompassing. Faith is faith is surrender. Faith is so much more than just, blindlessly being delusional, which I believe there is a healthy amount of delusion. I'm saying faith in the sense of, regardless of what happens, regardless of what plays out, in your core that was for you is always going to be for you. And I think now it's just the time of grounding and really going into ourselves internally, and really thinking and asking ourselves and asking our inner child, like, what do I feel like I'm missing or lacking, or what is keeping me held back, or what, just whatever it is, it'll be very clear to you, especially during this. I think it's a full moon in Libra or a super moon in Libra. So in that case too, and it's like once you finally let go of these connections and you tap back into your magician energy, which is transmuting it. So when I see the Death card next to the Magician card, it screams to me like master alchemist, master transmutation, like someone. And I feel like as an air signs, we tend to do magical, ritualistic things without even really realizing it, because especially as the air is very a high vibrational energy, and that's mine, that's your voice, that's your throat chakra, and that's how a lot of us have, what they say, that you can either know, a saying that stuck out with me one time that I heard, and it really just stuck with me, is the truth without compassion is a brutality. the truth without compassion is a brutality. And when someone told me that, I really like I really had to download that because I felt like I was leaning towards someone, and I'm seeing just the Queen of Swords energy in my head, which you're just really quick to just just cut somebody off really quick, always thinking the worst, always anticipating like negative things, and then manifesting it, giving my power away. And I feel like at the end of it, the last card is the Ten of Cups, which is I've been pulling this card so much, which is that moment that you are just in present and you are in bliss and you are now able to see all your hard work paying off. I see people paying off their mortgages. I see people paying off their cars. I see people buying homes. I see people renting. I just see at the end of this, once you directly transmute and you get good and tap into your magic skills, how you manifest in this world, everything else will fall into place. And not only in place, it will be beautifully orchestrated and divinely made just for you and your hard work. And people always talk about karma, how karma can have such a negative connotation, but we're not talking about the dharma, the effects that you have from being a good person, from not allowing the darkest things that you've been through that people might not even realize, and you just keep to yourself, being a strong friend, the black sheep. You don't realize that to a point you have to transmute that energy. You have to do something with that energy. And I feel like the magician card next to the death card is basically showing us that like we have been steadily transmuting even when we don't like it's saying is I don't look like the things that I've been through, and that's kind of like a double-edged sword in its whole because I feel like a lot of us are very aware of how we are perceived in good or bad ways. And I feel like the air signs, we instantly just know things. Our clairvoyance is just instant, and sometimes that can close us off because I feel like as the air sign, especially Libra and Aquarius, I feel like we're the most easily misjudged signs just in existence. So we learn how to put ourselves in a shell. We learn how to just keep everyone at arm's reach and just protect ourselves, and that kind of makes manifest just a lonely, alone, kind of energy. And I think there's a balance. We can either be the hermit or we can be the hangman. And I feel like most of us have been in hermit mode, but even a hermit comes out to share his wisdom, to share light, his inner light, to bring knowledge to people who have not necessarily been through what he's been through, but he can still help guide them. So that's what I'm seeing for just the first part of this reading for my Libras. And then two, the energy card is the Lovers in reverse, and I feel like it coincides just with the Ten of Cups. And I think the energy right now, it may not be feeling like that. So I feel like the representation of the Lovers reversed is there's still, because I feel like Venus still is in a funk after being just not the morning star in the sky anymore. But now that Venus is coming back, I feel like things are slowly getting back on track. We're slowly getting back to ourselves. We're slowly having fun with the mundane. We're taking baths. We're going to the parks. We're just being in nature. We're being present. And I think it's still a little bit of that shadows that's lingering over Venus, and especially Taurus and Libra. We've been feeling it a lot lately because Venus is ruled by our planet. So it's like we have been hit extra hard with that energy, and it feels good because I can feel the relief coming just to that just that tumultuous time. But it's still we have to still it's like moving, but you have to pack up, you got to organize, you got to wash, you got to load up the truck. Like there's a process to our healing. There's a process to just anything. And even if we sometimes our ego can get ahead of us and start making us want to rush or get lost in just the antics of it, it kind of loses its importance. So I feel like that was basically my reading for my air signs. I'll pull a few more cards and I'll pull an oracle for you guys. Okay, the last card I pulled is Ten of Wands next to Ten of Swords. There's a lot of 1010 energy. You might have been seeing 1010 or 111 or 222 angel codes. And if you have this, then this reading might be for you. And I feel like this is a good theme card of Ten of Wands. Is especially as I can speak for the Libras, we have to know how to say no and stand up for ourselves and not be enablers, because the Ten of Wands gives me someone who is taking on more than he can chew just for validation, or taking on everything, the energy, everybody else's stuff, to the point where he's now making it's like haphazardly. He's in this picture, he's holding all these wands that he's ready to give out, but it's almost giving me like you would give the shirt off your back to someone, but do you know how to receive? Like, do you realize that you deserve someone who will go out of their way for you too? You don't have to always be the one to go out of your way for someone. And I feel like those are good journal questions and good journal prompts to kind of dig deep into your psyche, to kind of get ahead of that and realize that healing is overcomplicated in some ways, but I feel like healing is just acceptance. So after that card, I think too, we need to accept people for who they are in the present, and stop leaning on people's per, stop betting on people's what's the word? Stop betting on people's potential, and pay attention to more of the person that they're showing you in the present, and that would lead you to a lot less heartbreak. Because as a Libra sun and a Leo moon, like I could be very prideful, but there's only certain people, and I'm very restrictive of my energy, and I feel like that is a kind of like a hard lesson to learn. But once you do learn it, it'll serve you so much easier, and it'll make you be, because I don't feel like you can't be any good to someone if you're not good to yourself. And I feel like once you can't change anyone. Once you start changing yourself for better, or once they start seeing you do better, that is what changes. And I had to release my need to always feel like I need to be in control, or 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 people please, or try to be in control of an outcome. Instead, I've just been learning how to just let go and ground myself, and let go of the shit that I can't control, and pour back into myself. So, and then I'm looking at the other energy card at the bottom of the deck is Ace of Cups. So it just coincides with this perfectly. It's like emotional fulfillment. It's like people are not gaslighting you. It's like you are not being easily controlled by your emotions. That's how I see the Ace of Cups. You are now using your emotions as another means to transmute. So we got the Death card, which is like we're transmuting that shadow, that astral energy, and with the Queen, with the Ace of Cups, we're transmuting that and utilizing that water energy to get messages, connect with our ancestors, and to cleanse. And I'll just pull one messenger oracle just to end out this reading for my air sign babies. Ciao. Ciao. I know we've been going through it. The cardinal signs. So let's see what oracle message Spirit has for you. I'm using the messenger oracle deck. And for my tarot readings, I'm using the Spellcaster's Tarot. I'll shuffle it 4 times. You might have been seeing 444 a lot. You might be moving into a place whose rent number or whose address has the 444 in it, or adds up to 4. Okay. This one just fell out. It says, "Hear the ancient ones." I'll pull more. Change is unavoidable. See how that coincides exactly what I was saying? And I feel like this hear the ancient ones. That's us tapping into our Kundalini energy. I feel like this is giving me a very shamanic energy with the third eye, green, and then just all the beautiful earth elements and trees and roots. So I feel like some of us too are having a big awakening, a big upgrade, and that too, it might be causing you some kind of stress. You might feel a little out of your body. You might feel a little weird, but Spirit's telling me this is just the initiation, and that too, you don't have to activate or actually do anything. This is all free will. So claiming back your power and doing the work is kind of glorified sometimes, because people make it seem like it's something that's just like, oh, I'm going to light a candle and this, that, and the fourth. But the real work is a lot more deeper and in tune, and and intentional. So I feel like that. So if you've been feeling like, you know, just uncomfortable, you have your thoughts might race a little more, just know that you may be experiencing an upgrade, or it may be one of your ancestors that you're connecting to who is now elevated, and you are now elevated enough to be in contact with this energy. I feel like that's a lot of what's going on lately, is we are raising our frequencies, we are raising our vibrations, just as Mother Earth is. And once that happens, we start to kind of like it, might be tired, we might be hearing things, we might be just drained, it might, but it doesn't last long. It's kind of like we're recalibrating. So just keep that in mind. um Thank you again for watching. This was just for Aries, not Aries, this was just a quick little reading for my air sign babies, the Libras, the Aquariuses, and the Geminis. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't feel free to subscribe, like the content, and check out the bio my link called AstroBoyArt.shop, and check out some of my merch. Thank you.